I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Global Book Network, we're diving into Imagination Volume 1 by William Demps. It is a fascinating nonfiction novel that explores the boundaries between nightmares and dreams, reality and imagination. William, a combat veteran of the U.S. Navy, uses his real-world experiences and psychic insights to ask deep questions about human potential and the modern world. Imagination Volume 1 promises to challenge your perspective and ignite your creativity. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on GBN. We thank the team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put him in the GBN today. And we ask viewers like you to support authors like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his amazing book. The links are below this interview. William, great to see you here today on GBN.
Nice to meet you as well.
Nice to have you on the show. Excited to talk to you about this outstanding book you have created. Talk to us a little bit about how your experiences in the Navy shaped your perspectives that you voice in the book.
Well, boot camp is always kind of a crazy conversation. The transformation of becoming a civilian into an active duty personnel, and it's just a rough ride. There's a lot of theories as to how you're supposed to be in the military, and then as soon as you get out of boot camp, you get into what it's like to be on the fleet. I had some pretty troubling experiences with hazing and some other stuff. And, one of the most divisive things that I had with my Marine dad was that there's two types of people in the military. You have people that go into combat and you have people that do not go into combat. And unfortunately, it's kind of hard to tell who can go into combat. I don't want to say one of the worst things that I experienced, I went into Imagination, but I actually went out into combat illegally. I was not supposed to be on the USS Gunston Hall at the time, and I went into a combat situation illegally for the woman that I loved, which was at the end of the book. And unfortunately, things kind of went sideways from that deployment, be that there was some other hazing stuff, there was some sexual assault stuff, and people were just showing their true colors, in the face of adversity. And when I was writing Imagination, it was kind of understanding, where I was at in that time frame, who I was, why I enlisted in service. And I wanted to see the world. I wanted to know where I was at, within the world. I was an aerographers mate, which was a weatherman in the military. And I have seen water spouts. I have seen weather phenomena. I've seen really crazy just things out at sea. When you're out in the middle of the ocean and you see your first water spout, it's literally like a tornado coming out of the ocean, literally just spinning, just being completely, totally insane. And, you will have hailstones this size attacking the ship, like this big and bigger. You'll see lightning just striking the ocean. You'll see flying fish. You'll just see just a maelstrom of just straight up chaos. And that's one of the things I loved about being in the Navy, because I was able to see, where I'm at in the world. We think about global warming, pollution at sea. When you're that far out, let's say at 0, 0 at the equator, literally 0, 0, if you were to put that on the map, the ocean is pristine clear. Like, it's so clear when you look straight down, the ocean is reflecting the sky, and it's just going to be something so clear that it's reflecting the sky so deep that it becomes blue. It's really hard to explain. What makes it actually kind of more fascinating is that depending on what's going on with, the moon, for example, let's say you have a new moon, you will not be able to see the hand in front of your face, even with the red lights in front of the ship. And it's just one of those things where, like, where are we at, like, in the world of things? And if you have a new moon, you will see all the stars in the sky. And I don't want to say add insult to injury, but just adding to, like, the scenery of things. If you don't have any sea waves out in the middle of the ocean with the new moon, and you can see all the stars in the sky, it's going to feel like you're actually in outer space. No BS. So, just having these really wild, fantastical, grounded experiences. And I was actually part of the relief effort in Haiti in 2010 when the earthquake disaster happened. So we were there on the Gunston Hall before the USS Comfort arrived, and it was just every X-rated thing you can think about was totally there. Femur bones just sticking out of women. People were just, urinating, just dying on top of each other. People were burning bodies. I mean, I had children die in my hands. It was just it was a war zone. And then it's like, I've seen Bibles get destroyed, churches were falling down, and, things were on fire, buildings, pretty much everything was just catastrophic. And, having those experiences bled into my writing, it bled into my imagination. And when I was writing Imagination, particularly Volume 1, I was tapping into those things And I was trying to figure out, where are we at in the world? What are we doing with our hands? I am a professional baker as a day job, and it's just one of the most humbling things because it's like, as a disabled veteran, one, I can still be functional in the real world outside of my creativity, and then two, we live in a very crazy place. We oftentimes, and I was tapping into this with Imagination Volume 1, people want things to be, 9 to 5, normal, straight edge, even, with, political correctness or with the LGBT stuff, people want things for what they want them to be. And real life doesn't work that way. Everybody's individual. One of the things I learned about being a weatherman was that all the clouds in the sky have been manifesting microscopic ice crystals before the dinosaurs were walking around, and they have been discharging electricity. So we think about something scientific like that, and the weather people are like, we don't know why it's doing that, including, with the recent hurricanes that have transpired, that hit Florida. We live in a very crazy place. Like, this is a very hostile, we have different types of ticks, diseases, bugs, spiritual stuff aside. This is a very hostile place. And a lot of people are not taking into consideration where we're at in the world. And one of the weird things as well with Imagination Volume 1 is that I wrote this when I was in college. So, one of the things I'm thinking about right now, how is Volume 2 going to be going? And, the things that I experienced, between, what came first, a chicken or the egg, what's more important, a man or a woman. We are here on this earth. We are here to propagate, to continue the gene pool, to continue where we're at, with mathematics, science, to continue our life as long as we can possibly be until it's time to pass the torch. And right now on this planet, we're having the most egotistical sense of selfishness with my way or the highway. And unfortunately, that's intellectual road rage. That's just emotional road rage. It's just what it is. And when you're on the road, you're on the highway, anything can happen on the road. Storms happen, potholes happen, car crashes happen. The wind happens. If you're going from Virginia to North Carolina, you don't know what's going down when you're going through a mountain. You could very well see a hurricane literally just do this kind of crazy nonsense. It's like, you had better slow down, turn on the emergency lights, and just go at your pace. If you got to pull over, you got to do that. And one of the things with Imagination Volume 1 that I wanted to tell people is to know where they're physically at, where they're at when they're feeling things and sensing things. And you're not wrong with what you could be perceiving. We have such a very closed-minded way of just seeing things. I'm multiracial. My dad's Black and Korean, and my mom's French and Cherokee. So I had both two biracial parents with very, I don't want to say differing views on life, but, it's like, where am I at, with the Buddhists? Where am I at with the Koreans? Where am I at, with my African-American side, the French side, even my Cherokee? And, when I was in college, I met so many different types of people. In fact, I was in Anaheim, California, literally 10 minutes from Disneyland when I wrote Imagination Volume 1. So I was seeing the fireworks that night with Mickey Mouse and so many different types, bells and Disney princesses, just walking around getting thrown up on with children and stuff. And it's like, oh, this is where we're at now, right? And it's just, this is where we're at with life. We're here to celebrate and love each other. We have differences. We have, different things going on with different types of noodles in a grocery store. I mean, I could take you to any grocery store right now. They are more than likely going to have 15 different types of dry noodles to cook from. And, what sauces go with those, right? I mean, just what goes with what? What tastes well? And I'm even developing my own Korean Cajun style of cooking. It's like, well, will this sauce with soy sauce go with, this type of egg noodle? I don't know, but you got to experiment. And that's what I really want people to come back with Imagination Volume 1. I want people to really see what's going on with themselves, taking a personal investigation as to what's going on with your life, what's going on with your computer, what's going on with your spirit. We do have a spirit in our bodies, and we will continue our lives, when we depart from this world, be that wherever we came from, wherever that we go. When I was in the Navy, I had one of the most traumatic experiences. This happened, especially out of combat, when I was blamed for killing children. And, I was making a prayer to God on the side of the USS Gunston Hall. And I was like, God, wherever I'm here on this ship illegally, like whatever it is, I need a sign, right? And the second I made that prayer, I saw my first shooting star, and it was green. It literally went from one end to wherever that shooting star came from to the other end of my sight, and it just completely disappeared. I'm like, well, that's something that's older than me that just made its presence known.
Amazing. William, we're almost out of time. I just want to ask you a little bit about the series. This is Volume 1. How many volumes are you anticipating in the series?
Well, as many as the fans would like, as long as there's fan interest and people want to see where my mind is going, I am doing entertainment work. I am cross promoting the Luminous universe. I'm working with Inkwell and Dorrance Publishing, as well as with Buffalo 8, getting my original intellectual properties off the ground. So there's a lot of different moving parts happening at once. If I get a concrete fan base, I'm not really certain how social media works.
Right.
But, it's like if I find out that, the fan base is there, I will continue as writing as many books as I can.
Wonderful.
And I formally requested an audience with Vice President Harris and former President Trump, with the stuff that happened with my military career to what's happening now, and, by entertainment intellectually. I don't know where I could fit with the White House. My great grandfather was an assistant surgeon general under late President Theodore Roosevelt and Woodrow Wilson. So it's not like my family hasn't been up there and I've been given that documentation.
Amazing.
And, my thing, coming post COVID and stuff is that we're here to live and have a good life. And I really want people to take this book, investigate who and what you are, be proud of yourself and love yourself. Figure out what you are in the sand of the beach, where you're at in the road. And truly, with whatever it is that you do with your life, move forward and have a good time with life. You don't have to be a bigot and be crazy. Just don't do it.
Exactly. 30 seconds. Tell us about the Luminous universe.
It is an original universe that I have been working on since I was 13 years old, possibly as early as 10. This has been something that's been brewing in Hollywood. We do have actors and actresses. I cannot go any further than that. We have people and moving parts. People are figuring out, what to do. And I'm honored and humbled to represent Buffalo 8, Inkwell, and Dorrance Publishing, as well as you guys with Atticus Publishing. And wherever things that go, I want dreams to come true and develop a positive and loving fan base. Shout out to Ginger Prime and shout out to the gaming community. I am a Mortal Kombat fan, Elden Ring fan, and Dawn Trail for Final Fantasy 14. So I do know what's going on in the gaming scene of things.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, the Luminous universe looks terrific. I hear it could marvel DC or Marvel, and I think that'd be terrific to see a new contender in that space for sure. The name of the book we've been primarily focusing on today is Imagination Volume 1 by William Demps. It is a fascinating nonfiction novel that explores the boundaries between nightmares and dreams, reality and imagination. William is a combat veteran of the U.S. Navy, and he uses his real-world experiences and psychic insights to ask deep questions about human potential and the modern world. And as you can see, William has no shortage of energy, so we expect a lot from this author forthcoming. William, thank you so much for joining us here today on GBN.
Absolutely. I hope we develop a positive relationship. And to all my new fans, I'm going to do my best to deliver the best work. You have my word on it. I just want the positivity and the best for everyone involved, and God bless everyone.
God bless you as well. We appreciate your hard work. We appreciate your energy and enthusiasm. And I think the fans out there are going to love this book and other creations by William as well. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time.